back by channel. We're back with a reaction. We're not filming a reaction today. What am I talking about? We are back with another video. We are doing the third part in my music recap series. We are checking out my music listening habits in the months of May and June. And we're gonna chit chat about them. There is a lot of explaining and talking I need to do. Mostly when we get to June. There's a glimpse of it in May, and then you'll see it become a full-fledged issue in June. So we'll get there eventually. But anyways, if you have not seen either of these videos so far, I did one for January and February, and then March and April. I can link them up here. They're in the music recap playlist. Basically, I'm gonna go through my Apple Music recap and basically expose myself to y'all, my actual listening habits, because I talk a lot of talk when I film reactions and album listens, but what do I actually listen to IRL? So we're going to find that out today, at least for the months of May and June. Now, before we get started, check out the pinned comment on this video for the Google form for my 1K special video. Make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button. So I'm spending more time, get right on into the video. Okay, we're going to kick things off with the month of May. In the month of May, I listened to 2,412 minutes of music. Pretty standard for me. I started teaching a little bit more in May, but that number is going to make a jump as like months come because I'm teaching more and more. So pretty standard number for me. You'll have to let me know if that's an absurd amount either direction, but that's how much music I listen to in May. Moving right along, we're going to start with my top artists. I'm going to walk you through the top 5. In 5th place at 87 minutes is Tate McRae. Now, I listen to a lot of her music just on my own time. I also have some of her music as some of my teaching music because I know the kids I teach, the older ones, listen to her a lot and they like her music. So I try to find ones that I won't get in trouble for playing at the studio that I can play. So combination of both of those. Love the 2000s revamp style music. So right up my alley. So no surprise there. Not her first appearance in my top artist, that's for sure. Coming in at number 4 with 168 minutes, so a little bit of a jump here, is Boy Next Door. Now, Boy Next Door didn't release the album in May. They had their pre-release at the very end of May, out on a whim. I didn't even know it was coming out. I don't think anyone did. I think it was a surprise drop. They do also have other songs that I listen to quite a bit. As we get a little more into things, it'll kind of make sense how, with only a pre-release during May, they are 4th in my artists. So you'll have to wait and see on that one. Coming in at number 3. So my top 3 are separated by 10 minutes. So very close top 3. Coming in 3rd place at 217 minutes, so another jump, is Cordis. Now they released their album at the very beginning of May. I listened to the whole thing and I loved that album. I do listen to it a lot, so I am not surprised at all that they are there. I have been obsessed with their music lately. Even as of now, I listen to a lot of their music, not only off of Green Green, but off of their first EP as well. I don't know, right up my alley music-wise. I think it's fun, it's entertaining, and I am so excited to see where they go because they're still so new. Number 2 at 222 minutes, lots of 2s there, is BTS. I listen to a lot of older BTS music. I have listened to some of the songs on the new album multiple times since its release, but this month specifically, I remember I also listened to a lot of their older stuff. Like, I was really obsessed with Spring Day and I Need You in this month specifically, I remember. So that is a big impact in them getting up to number 2 despite having no release. Coming in at number 1 at 227 minutes, so a mere 5 minutes ahead of 2nd place, is Zero Base One. I was really obsessed with a few songs on the album that they just released as a part of their rebrand. I'm not surprised that they're up here. They did have a really solid rebrand. In my opinion, I really enjoyed the album. I think every song on the album is really good. There's a few that I listen to over and over and over and over again, which makes a lot of sense because they're at number 1. So that is my top 5 artists. Let's move right along into my top 5 songs. Coming in at number 5 at 17 plays. So we're already kind of up there for play numbers, at least for me personally. At number 5 is Curious by And Double. I love this song. I think it is such a great title track. I freaked out the first time I listened to it, and I really enjoy it ever since. The whole album, not so much. but that title track I really love, right up my alley. So I definitely listen to it a lot, especially driving to and from class and rehearsals and everything. So go and double getting your debut title track in my top 5. Coming in at number 4 at 22 place is Young Creator Crew by Cordis. This song really threw me for a loop the first time I heard it. I was like, this is bizarre, but I kind of like it. And as I've listened to it more, it's grown on me a lot. Everyone can have their own taste in music. I'm not gonna dog people. I personally really loved this EP. I acknowledge that it is not for everyone, but I do love this a lot. It's been in my music rotation ever since it came out, even to this day. I literally think I listened to it yesterday. Moving right along into 3rd place with 34 plays. Welcome back, Cordis. It's Red Bread. Definitely my favorite song on the album, which is a surprise because I don't tend to have title tracks as my favorites on the album, but for some reason I love this one. I think it's so good. It's catchy. I could listen to it on repeat, literally just like over and over and over and over and over again. That would be why it is at number 3. At number 2, at 36th place is Top 5 by Zero Base One. Another great title track. Genuinely, I think this was so good. I think they found the perfect alley for the rebrand that doesn't feel too much like they are stuck in their concept from when they were 9 members, but it also doesn't feel like a complete erasure of where they came from. It feels very much like a natural progression. So I loved it. I love the song. Catchy, so good. So many different parts of the song, different vibes that are just and then coming in at number 1 at 40 plays is Tok 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 by Boy Next Door. Hey, they got a number 1. I loved this. I know there's a lot of talk about this song and everything. I loved it. And, you know, in the video, I was like, don't stress about one song not being in concept. I'm sure the album's going to be very much up their alley. And looky here, I was correct. I think it's very up my alley in terms of sound. I do think that is a testament to me growing up taking hip hop. I literally have been taking hip hop classes since I was in 3rd grade, which was 15 years ago, probably-ish. I tend to really gravitate towards that kind of music because it's kind of what I grew up being around a lot. I think they pull it off really well. I thought it was actually really refreshing to get to see something a little bit different from them, just that they can show that they have a versatility to them. Great job, Boy Next Door. Moving right along into my top albums. This is where we need to start having an explanation. I'll give the mini spiel now, and I'll give the full spiel when we get to June. If we're talking purely actually how things are ranked, at number 5 is Ballet Preschool Dance Party. Now, I did some littles classes in the month of May, so that is where that comes from. I'm not just casually listening to that on my own time. What I'm going to say, what would actually be in that spot if not for me subbing, so this is at my number 6. My real number 5 is Simple Like 17 by Sadie Jean. I heard one of the songs off of this album on TikTok and immediately added it to my TikTok playlist on my Apple Music. And I have listened to it a lot. I think it's so pretty. It's warm and comforting, but also very bittersweet. I also play it occasionally when I'm teaching my contemporary classes. So the things are all connecting. So that would actually be my number 5 if we're not counting Ballet Preschool Party. Moving right along into number 4, it's going to be all the albums that I did the full listen for in the month of May. Coming in at number 4 at 11 minutes is Sequence 01 Curiosity by N Double. I listened to the full album. I think I've listened to maybe 1 or 2 of the B-sides. Since I listened to it, was not my favorite album. The sound wasn't really up my alley. Not bad, but just not kind of my lane of things, which is perfectly fine. I still love the title track and I still listen to it a lot. So I'm sure that has an impact on it getting number 4. Coming in at number 3, no surprise here because I listened to the song 40 times, is Tok 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 Single by Boy Next Door. So this is just the pre-release single that got released in May because the album hadn't come yet. No surprise here, it's just one song, and I listened to that for 15 minutes. I don't know if I said that. Still a great song, but it's also only one song, so it was not going to stand up to the albums where I listen to the full album and then listen to them a bunch over again. Coming in at number 2 at 52 minutes is Green Green by Cortis. No surprise here, did the full listen. I have 2 of the, I think there's like 5 or 6 songs on the EP in my top 5 songs, so I'm not surprised at all that that is where it is. Coming in at number 1 at 78 minutes is Ascend by Zero Base One. They're my number 2 song, and if I go into the lower ranked top songs, 0 to 100 is at number 6, and Exotic is at number 13. They have jumped there. Another great release, another great album to have as my number 1 album. So that is going to be my recap for the month of May. I think it's very normal. I was not surprised at all really by this. I think it's very reflective not only of my listening habits, but of how I thought about certain releases that came in May. So no surprise there. Let's move right along into the month of June. Okay, so we're in the month of June. Let me just get my listening minutes out before I have to dive into a big explanation of what I have to do for June. I listened to 3,151 minutes of music in June, more than I did in May. I was teaching a lot more in June than I was in May. I was teaching at an audition intensive. I was teaching a kids camp. That's gonna come back up. And then I started teaching a lot of my own classes. That makes sense for the jump from May to June. Now, as we get into my top artists, I am going to have to wiggle things around so I can give you an actual top 5 that's not being infiltrated by children's music. Here's my explanation before I get into things. I taught a Bluey dance camp in the month of June. 4 hours, Monday through Friday, I was playing the Bluey soundtrack. That being said, all of my data now contains Bluey, even though I don't listen to Bluey. I'm going to tell you where things actually ranked, physically in numbers, and then I will give you what would actually be my top 5, not counting that music, because I don't actually listen to that. There also is one specific artist that I will mention that is in my top 5 that also has a little bit of an explanation behind it. So we're gonna kind of have to hodgepodge things together to get actual numbers. I think I figured out a way for when I teach it to not count towards this, but we'll have to see when my July recap comes if that works or not. I don't teach kids very often, but when I do, I'm playing the same music over and over and over again because it's music they like. I'm gonna start at my actual number 1, number 2, and then I'll give you what in reality it should be. At number 1, 519 minutes is Bluey. I was hearing Bluey in my sleep that week. I was listening to it so much because of those kids. So not surprised here. I'm really worried that this is going to royally mess up my end of year replay, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then at number 2 is another artist that I use strictly for teaching purposes only. At number 2 at 315 minutes is Nate Fifield. Now he makes pop songs into classical ballet music that works for bar and center. It's what I use when I teach ballet. I teach a lot of ballet. It's something that's a little more interesting of classical music because these teenagers probably don't want to be listening to classical music. My actual 1 and 2 are only there because of dance teaching. So now we're going to backtrack. I'll start at what is technically 7, get all the way to 3, which is actually 5th through 1st. Does that make sense? Okay, stay with me here. Okay, coming in what would be 5th place at 104 minutes is ATEEZ. ATEEZ didn't have their comeback in June. I still was listening to a bunch of ATEEZ music. I love a lot of their old music, so I've been listening to that a lot. I kind of got on a little mini ATEEZ kick leading up to the comeback, so that checks out. Coming in at what would be number 4 at 113 minutes is Zero Base One. Residuals from the album that they released. Top artists from the month that they had their comeback in usually tend to be on the lower end of my top 5 listening habits for the next month, especially if the release comes at the end of the month because it kind of splits the two. So not surprised that they are there. At what would be number 3 at 126 minutes, we have BTS. Again, same thing as May. I have been listening to a lot of their old music as of recently, and also some of their music off of their latest album. Coming in at number 4 at 140 minutes is Stray Kids. Now, they did have their pre-release in June with Run It. I listened to that a bunch. I still listen to it. I think it's so good. It makes me so excited for the comeback and the tour that's coming. So, not surprised that they are there. I also have been listening to their older stuff as well. Similar to BTS and ATEEZ, kind of just got on a kick of listening to some of their older music. And then coming in at what would be number 1 at 189 minutes is Boy Next Door. They had their big comeback this month. I listened to the full album. I listened to a lot of those songs off of the album after doing that full album listen. So I'm not surprised in the least that they are at number 1. They had such a good release that I was just eating up in the month of June. So great job to Boy Next Door. Moving right along into my top songs. My top 5, with the exception of one song, is entirely Bluey. So I'm going to piece together, like I did with the artist, what my top songs would be, not counting all the Bluey stuff. At number 5, at 16 plays, is Top 5 by Zero Base One. They're back. Still love the song. So no surprise that they are still holding on to one of those spots in my most listened to song. And then coming in at number 4 at 16 plays is Red Red. Again, no surprise. Come back in May. I still listen to that song even now quite a bit. So that song isn't going anywhere for quite a bit because I love it. They're back. They're holding strong with Zero Base One. Coming in at number 3 at 16 plays is Adios by Boy Next Door, a song that has grown on me so much. I already really liked it when I did the album listen, and then I have fallen in love with it even more the more I listen to it and the more that they've released for it. I keep going back to it because it's just so much fun, such a good time, very Boy Next Door. And coming in at number 2, also at 16 plays, so my bottom 4 all have the same amount of plays, is Tok 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 by Boy Next Door. Again, so they have held on to staying in the top 2 for the second month in a row. Same thing as before, I just really like this song. It hasn't really gotten old for me. I do listen to it less now, but I still listen to it fairly consistently, and I still think it's a great song, in my opinion. And then coming in at number 1, this connects back to last month. At 22 plays is Locksmith by Sadie Jean. This is the song that was on the album. Technically wasn't 5, but was 5. That album from May, that's what this song is from. I love this song. It's great. Like I said, I sometimes play it in my classes, and I also just listen to it a lot on my own. I really do love it. So I'm a little surprised it's at number 1, but I also wasn't able really to listen to a ton of my own music this month because having Bluey Camp, and I was really busy with subbing different classes when teachers were gone, and then I had my own classes, and then I also filmed a video. So surprised, but not entirely surprised. Let's move right along into my top albums. So this is going to be another hodgepodgey moment. Sometimes pop up with the album, and the same goes for back when I did the songs, are where they technically rank, including everything, including the Bluey and the classical ballet music I use for teaching. So the numbers aren't right, but how I'm saying them is right, okay? At number 5, at 8 minutes, is Hope by NF. Now, I taught a combo to the song and contemporary combo in my class, so I had to listen to a bunch choreographing it, and then I also had to listen to a bunch while teaching it and doing groups and everything. I also just really like his emotional rap kind of music. I have been waiting to choreograph to it for a while, so I jumped at the chance to once summer classes started back up. That is where that comes from. And then at number 6, at 9 minutes, is You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love by Olivia Rodrigo. Now, I have not listened to this full album. I listened to a few songs. I also choreographed a combo to one of the songs. I also just listened to some of the songs on my own accord. I always make a joke that I still am very much a basic person, and I love some just girly pop kind of music. I have listened to a few of these songs quite a few times since the album came out. I've not heard the whole thing, but I've listened to a few and I really like them. Coming in at what would be number 3, yes, 3, at 10 minutes is Satellite's Single by Daisy May. Now this is another song I found off of TikTok, and it released this month, and I listened to it a lot. I also played a lot during improv for class. Anytime there's a combination of me listening to something on my own while also using that same song for teaching, it's going to bump it up in the ranking. Still a great song. I think it's so pretty. I really do love the song a lot, so no surprise there. And then coming in at number 2 at 16 minutes is Something in the Heavens single by Louis Capaldi. I love his music. I think it's so good. His voice is absolutely incredible. This song is so devastating, but also so hopeful. This is another song I've listened to on my own, also use a lot for contemporary class. Makes sense that it is at number 2. And then jumping to my number 1 at 45 minutes is Home by Boy Next Door. Not surprised here at all in the least. I love that. It is so good, genuinely. Off the top of my head, I don't know for sure. It's at least in my top 3 albums that have come out this year. I do have a spreadsheet of the albums that came out and how I've been ranking them and stuff, so that way I have kind of a better idea when we get to the end of the year and I talk about my favorite releases. This is pretty high up there. I think this is so good. It's so solid. I raved about it a lot in the album listens. If you want to see my full and complete thoughts on all of the tracks in this, you can go check out that video. So a very solid release that I love and still listen to this day. Now, if you're curious, technically, I can speedrun where things actually ranked. Physically, at number 1 would have been Bluey the album at 474 minutes. That's going to be my number 1 album of the year because of Bluey Camp. Home would be number 2, and then number 3 would be Ballet Class Pop Hits Volume 9 by Nate Fifield at 21 minutes. And then from there, it would be as follows for my top 5. So number 4 would have been Something in Heavens, number 5, Satellites, number 6, You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love, and at number 7 would have been Hope. Big explanations there. Hopefully that made sense to you. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I figured out a way to get, when I'm teaching, that music to not count to my recap. We'll see once the month of July is over if that actually worked. If not, we're gonna probably have to be doing this a little bit more. Luckily, Bluey Camp was 1 week, so bye-bye Bluey. We are done with Bluey, but that ballet music, that's gonna get me if it didn't work. So that was a mess, but that was my listening habits for the month of June. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you found at least some of that entertaining. I know it was a little bit of a mess when we got to June, so thank you for bearing with me there. If you don't go check out any of my reactions, I do have a playlist for every group that I react to over in the playlist tab. And if you want to know what I'm reacting to in the future, I have a playlist called Reactions to Come that is full of everything that has been released that I will be filming a reaction for. So if you don't see something in that playlist that you want me to watch, drop it down in the comment section below or reply to my post and let me know. Also, let me know what your listening habits were like, your favorite releases that have come in the last couple months. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications. There's lots of comebacks happening. Things are constantly moving forward. Sometimes I'm introducing new groups. Like right now I have a Kickbook deep dive going on right now. And then I'm also covering comebacks as they get released. So there's lots of videos coming out. So it's important that I have those post notifications turned on. If you want to go follow me on any of those social medias, I'll put them both down here. They're also linked in the description of this video as well as on my channel page. So if you want to go follow me over there, I would love to have you. Thank you so very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one.